Hey, hello and welcome to the very first episode. The first episode of Krazed Conversations. Look, my name is Kendrick Lattimore and I am the owner of Krazed Entertainment. Come on, y'all. Let's have a conversation. All right. So, Krazed Entertainment is a small independent company that I started while attending Sam Houston State University. While attending there, we did not have a lot of shows for, people of color. Our counterparts had a few more shows and opportunities to really flex their muscle. So a few of us came together and we had to create other avenues in order for us as African Americans to be seen on campus. And that is where the bite or the push for me to become an entrepreneur came from. So after college, I started acting on stage, but it wasn't until one of my homies by the name of Aaron Spells. Make sure you guys go check him out. He has a motion picture out right now, Pigs for Breakfast. I don't know if they changed the name of it, but I believe they did. But make sure y'all go and show some support to that boy. He kind of helped me to become more engaged with the film aspect of this medium in which us thespians thrive, right? And noticing how powerful this tool was, I decided to go ahead and take a step back from theater and to focus at least 7 to 8 years, I think, on just focusing on learning how to work the cameras, learning how to work the lights, learning how to properly write scripts, learning how to properly edit, learning how a few different things, right? And so don't look at this as an example of what I can do, but it will get better. I guarantee you guys this podcast will be a lot better. All right. So Krazed Conversation, we exist to spotlight real conversations in entertainment, politics, music, and culture from a bold, unapologetic black perspective. So if you're into storytelling, purpose, and power moves, you are in the right place. Krazed Conversations. All right, guys, so how this is going to go, right? I'm going to talk about 4 different topics. Each week, there will be different topics. The topics that I'm going to talk about today, they're going to be film, theater, a little bit of gossip on the sports side, and then I'm going to give my opinion, right, about something that I've experienced and what my opinion is about that, right? So the first thing that we're going to talk about is film. All right, guys, so let's talk about film, right? And more specifically, what it means to build as a black filmmaker in spaces that weren't made for us, right? So the very first person I want to talk about is Ryan Coogler, the fucking GOAT. I don't know if I should say the F word, but the GOAT, right? So this guy, he just signed a groundbreaking deal with Warner Brothers for his latest film, Sinners. All right. So this just isn't another movie. It's a bold, original movie that is set in the 1930s Mississippi. It blends the supernatural aspect with the profound cultural themes in which we understand, right? So what makes this deal so different and more important than any other filmmaker that has came before him, right? So Coogler, what he did was he secured full creative control over the project, right? And so what that means is he gets a share of the box office revenue before the studio even turns over a profit. So usually the studios, they'll want to turn over a profit before they will start paying the director of the film. But what he worked on was being able to turn a profit before the box office came out, right? So now this is a rare arrangement in Hollywood. The level of autonomy and financial participation, it is unheard of, right? Especially for black filmmakers, right? So perhaps most notably, right, Coogler negotiated a clause that grants him ownership of the film's rights after 25 years after its release, right? So this means by 2050, the rights to Sinners and any sequels or remakes, his estate gets full control over that. So his kids will be able to eat off of this, right? So the film itself is a testament for Coogler's vision. It stars Michael B. Jordan, one of the other GOATs, And it explores themes of racial violence, black resilience through the lens of a supernatural thriller. So the movie has been out and it has garnered a rare A in the cinema score, right? This is the first horror movie in 35 years. The first horror movie in 35 years. And it opened up the box office grossing over $63 million in revenue. Right? And he doesn't have to sell. He didn't have to sell out, and he retains that intellectual property, which is one of the dopest things ever, right? So this new wave that Coogler has created, or he has embarked on, it's sending a powerful message through the industry, right? It's saying that we as black creatives can tell our own stories. We can control our own narratives, and we can achieve commercial success without compromising our vision. Now let's wrap that bad boy back around to Houston, Texas, right? So here in Houston, Texas, we might not have the same studio backing, and we don't have the same opportunities, right? But there are a lot of programming. There's a lot of things that we can do that will help us garner financial stability for us to be able to produce movies, right? So you can look at the Texas Moving Image Industry Incentive Program, which is a TMIIP. It offers rebates for qualifying productions, right? We have organizations like the Houston Arts Alliance and the Austin Film Society. These all provide grants for local filmmakers, right? But beyond the funding, beyond all of that, you have to get around like-minded people. We need a community, right? And I know there is a community, but I just haven't met them. So I'm looking and searching for my community, right? So if you a cinematographer, a sound tech, a writer, a makeup artist, or you just passionate about storytelling, holla at your boy. Let's connect, right? Let's get some movies made. Let's get some shorts made. Let's sell these to some production companies, or let's maintain our own creative freedom, and let's put these things in Sundance festivals and different programming around the country, right? Together, we can make this thing work. Together, we can make sure that we succeed as artists and as thespians. Guys, so we're going to shift over to theater, right? So what we're going to talk about right now is producers. So we all know who Candy Burgess is. She's a part of the member, 1/4 of the part of the member of Escape. And she's also a member of the ensemble on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, right? So she has made significant strides on Broadway, right? So her latest venture, she's co-producing Othello, right? And this show opened up with 2.8 million in a single week during previews, right? So it's making it the highest grossing play in Broadway history. But her journey didn't start right there, and it wasn't overnight. So she started acting on Broadway with Mama Morton in Chicago. Then she went on to produce Thoughts of a Color Man, which is a dope ass play. If y'all haven't get it, dope ass monologues, actors, dope monologues in that book. Make sure y'all go check it out. The Piano Lesson, she produced that in 2022. The Wiz in 2024. And then, so, I mean, it's just showing that it's not overnight success, right? She has worked her ass off in order to get here. And hopefully, my girl gets a Tony based off of this, right? So let's draw an inspiration from Burris and her trajectory on her own theatrical journey. Let's talk about going from Houston to Broadway, right? So I have this show that I'm currently writing. I'm on page like 45 of 90. I'm doing a musical and a straight version of it. And I'm trying to figure out how to get that joint, excuse me, from Houston, Texas to Broadway, right? So the very first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to secure funding, right? So that's either through crowdfunding, the Houston Arts Alliance, like I said earlier, the Texas Commission of Arts, they all offer grants. Nationally, they have the National Endowment for the Arts and the Sherbert Foundation. These all provide funding for people who are trying to get their shows produced and put up, right? Because it's gonna cost a bag to produce a show, especially for, like, you got to think about costumes, you got to think about the makeup, you have to think about paying people a fair and livable wage in order to even want to do anything for you, right? Because we all know money is made from trees, but it doesn't grow on trees, and ain't nobody working for free, right? So we have to make sure that we are paying these artists a competitive price, right? But beyond funding, man, we have to make sure that you have a profitable team. You have to have a great team of directors, stage managers, set designers, costume designers, right? And they're just understanding the logistical aspects. Because once you put it up in Houston, once the play is up in Houston, then what happens? Well, you have to make sure that it goes from Houston. You can either tour it or you can try to get it to off Broadway. Now, touring helps you with financially, but of course it helps financially, but it's also going to cost you more financially in order to get the set pieces moved, to tour with the actors, housing, food, all of that jazz, right? All of that jazz goes into the touring aspect. But if you're lucky enough to either win a contest or to somehow get your show on off Broadway, that's where a lot of the Broadway producers come to look and see new, fresh material that they want to invest in order to go to Broadway. So, it's a few different avenues that you can take to try to get your show picked up or to get it on Broadway. You know what I mean? But the main thing is finding a producer that is willing to invest in your vision, invest in something that's new, invest in something that's cutting edge, because without those investments, without those stamps, your show isn't going anywhere but staying in Houston. And then you'll produce one show and then produce another show. And what's the purpose of producing all of these shows besides building your resume up? All right, so now we're going to talk about Shannon Sharpe. God, dog. All right, so NFL Hall of Famer and prominent media personality Shannon Sharpe is facing a $50 million civil lawsuit and is filed in Nevada, right? So the plaintiff, identified as Jane Doe, she didn't want to put her name out there from good reason, I'm sure, alleges that during her nearly 2-year relationship with Sharpe, Sharpe committed acts of sexual assault, battery, and emotional distress. The suit claims that Sharpe manipulated and controlled her, threatened physical violence, and ignored her refusals during the alleged assault. Right? So they said it was 2 different assaults. One allegedly happened in Las Vegas in late 2024 and another in 2025, according to Vulture. Now, representing Jane Doe is Houston-based attorney Tony Busby, the same fucker that was after Jay-Z and the same one that's after Diddy. I don't know why he coming after so much. I ain't gonna say nothing, but I just said enough, right? So, Busby has stated, it takes a great deal of courage to stand up against those who have power, fame, and money. I look forward to pressing this court's in case. We're pressing the case in court. I mean, Busby, boss, you're coming after the greats. And I mean, I'm not saying that people don't do wrong things. They need to be reprimanded. But, it's kind of crazy that you're constantly coming after these black men who have influence and power. And it's not looking the greatest for you in some of these case outcomes, right? So Sharpe has a legal team, and his legal team, led by attorney Lanny J. Davis, has categorically denied all allegations, right? He described the lawsuits as blatant and cynical attempt to shake down Mr. Sharpe for millions of dollars. They assert that the relationship was consensual and have presented multiple text messages to support their stance. So after all of this jumped off, Shannon Sharpe hit back. He showed that, hey, me and this girl, we was doing what we wanted to do. We grown. No matter what it was, she agreed to do it. And even in those text messages showed that the Jane Doe was a little bit more, ready to get down with the get down than Unc was. And so, they're going to use that as their defense in court, right? So this case, it underscores the complexities surrounding public figures and the importance of due process, right? Due process is one of the most important things for people who are going through, defendants who are going through these cases, right? And sometimes due process is not always the best, especially for us, but hopefully for Shannon Sharp's sake, that it will be something that is beneficial for him, right? As the leading proceedings unfold more, I'll make sure to keep y'all updated on things like that. All right, now this is the last part. This is my opinion piece, right? So let's talk about friendship. So it's not going to be the surface level kind of friendship, but the deep, soul affirming connections that kind of stand the test of time, like your brothers. You know what I mean? It don't have to be your blood brothers, but the brothers that you take on as brothers, the people who you walk with, your sisters, your friends that you might have met in college and had this sincere connection with, right? For me, friendship is the cornerstone of any successful person. Without a good core, solid friend group, it is very hard for people to excel and to be who they're truly meant to be, right? These bonds as friendship, we all know that they sometimes outlast romantic relationships. I have friends that I've been friends with for over 15, 16 years, and you know, they're not changing. Some of our friendship is longer than a lot of relationships that they've been in. And so, you know, it's refreshing to find friends that you can connect with, and it's not based on anything but strictly connections and really understanding each other and wanting to see each other win and wanting to see each other grow. Right now, I'm a loyal person. As a friend, I do stand with you, regardless of other people's opinions or their experiences with you, or, you know, because I mean, look, I ain't the nicest person. I know people have bad stuff to say about me, just like I probably have bad stuff to say about them. You dig what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I walk around and I'm the perfect example of what a friendship should look like, but I am loyal and I will stand with my friend 10 toes down. And as that loyalty is given, I'm expecting it to be returned, right? It's a mutual understanding that we have each other's back no matter what. We're going to hold each other down. We're going to fight down, right? Now, being observo, being a Virgo, being a Virgo, I can observe shit, right? I notice the smaller shifts, the inconsistencies. I see when something don't align right, like something is just not right. You acting different than how you was really acting, like all of that. And if I don't understand it or it's kind of hitting weird to me, I ain't gonna rock with you. But see, I'm petty, so I'm not gonna just walk away. I'm not gonna just be like, hey, I ain't rocking with you no more, I'm done. Nah. I'm gonna address it first. Because I believe in confronting issues head on. Because I'm not a video game. You can't just press reset and expect everything to be okay. I ain't no Sega Genesis. And I ain't no Nintendo 64. Right? Disloyalty is something that I just do not overlook. Boundaries are essential. Right? If I introduce you to somebody, if I introduce you to a friend or somebody that you never met before, and I don't tell you, hey, you know, connect with them more, connect with them deeper, you know what I'm saying? Respect that, right? And it's not about me being possessive of my friends. I am possessive of my friends, but that's not what it stems from. It's understanding the dynamics of different relationships in my life. Right? I don't want a friend that I've had for 12 years over here that I talk about theater and different stuff with to connect with somebody I've had a 15-year relationship with and I don't talk about theater with, but we talk about different stuff. Right? This is a conflict. It's a conflict of interest. Right? I don't want my friends to connect. If y'all were meant to connect, y'all would have connect outside of me. Now, if it is a situation where I feel like I can build my friends and I'm connecting you, I'm like, hey, bro, this is a good connection for you. Like, hop on that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'll let you know that. I'm going to tell you. I don't need you to connect with my friends behind my back. I don't like that. I don't think it's very becoming. Because in my head, I'm like, what y'all connecting for? Sometimes it's just about, I want to bring my homie over here and my homie over here just to connect for that moment. I don't want these worlds to merge, bro. I don't want my friendship groups to merge. They're different friend groups for a reason. I hate that shit. Right? Friendship is about respect, loyalty, and understanding. It's about recognizing the value in each other and honoring the space that we hold in each other's life. So, that's my spiel on friendship. I hope y'all enjoyed the first podcast. Now, of course, it's going to get better. Of course, the set is going to look a lot better. Of course, the lighting is going to be better. But y'all work with me. I want to make sure I deliver what I said I was going to deliver. Hey, it's crazed conversation.